Welcome back. I'm Karen, founder and managing director of Orchid Leadership Coaching and Consultancy Limited, encouraging you to embrace the leader within. Whether you're a CEO leading a company, an executive leading a team of innovators, an emerging entrepreneur, or a working or stay-at-home parent leading the family and home, now's the time to embrace the future, empower the new you. Welcome to episode 7 of Enlightened Leadership Coaching Snippets from our season of podcasts linking to leadership. In this episode, we'll be deep diving into the fearless leader, leading outside the comfort zone. Wow, that sounds like a Bond title if ever I heard one. If you missed our earlier episodes, don't worry. They're available to download on numerous major podcast platforms. Do ensure to subscribe or follow so not to miss out on future upcoming episodes. Getting back to today's episode, focusing on the fearless leader, leading outside the comfort zone. Imagining a comfort zone conjures up images of warm, cozy quilts, enveloping velvety soft blankets, soft marshmallow pillows, to sink into as you gently close your eyes and feel safe, secure, and all fuzzy with a relaxing glow. However, what if life were limited to just within the comfort zone? If there were no challenges to disturb us, no potential for growth to push us, no goals to aim towards to guide us, no learning, developing, or innovation to motivate us, how would life be? How would our workspace be? How would the lives of our family members be? And how would our leadership be? We perhaps ask these questions of ourselves with a slight smile, with a tilt of the head, half in thought but not fully focusing or reflecting quite so deeply at a personal level. Yet many of us, more often than we dare to admit, find immediate and complete comfort and safety within the comfort zone, and welcome the embrace of being wrapped in cotton wool, whilst the outer world carries on and passes us by. Living fully immersed within the comfort zone provides a stasis environment where we as individuals and groups remain static, happy in existing habits that perpetuate and repeat themselves day by day until we die. Is that a life? Does it provide fulfillment, satisfaction? Does it create a platform for a purposeful existence? Can we purposefully lead within this zone of comfort and safety? The life of a modern leader, whether in the workplace or at home, brings inevitable challenges of leading, innovating, motivating, growing, developing, evaluating, communicating, and of taking risks to create growth and success. We can't do any of these things effectively whilst remaining within our cozy comfort zone. The end of our comfort zone is where our leadership begins. Let me repeat that. The end of our comfort zone is where our leadership begins. Let's dip our toes just outside the comfort zone for a moment. Let's see what we discover together. It's challenging to move beyond our comfort zone. That's how it's got its name. Plus, the comfort zone is different for each one of us, so we can't anticipate what lies ahead. There's something very comforting in using a limited set of behaviours to deliver a steady level of performance, without a sense of risk. We experience tasks and routines that are so familiar, or that we're so good at, that we don't even have to think. However, effective leaders know that leading from their comfort zone means they're not learning, growing, developing, or most of all, getting results. Although your team members can't afford to live outside the comfort zone, as the leader, you must. Therefore, creating the foundation and environment for your team to step outside the comfort zone in order to innovate and create. Same can be said for creating zones for our family and children, to step outside their comfort zone in order to nurture growth, emotional stability, meet necessary challenges, and become purposeful in how they see their roles as citizens in society. Dream big, play big, value innovation, courage and calculated risk-taking. Challenge to create change. Make bold, decisive, intentional choices. Know that growth comes only by moving beyond your own walls. Again, growth comes only by moving beyond your own walls. Think for a moment. What zone are you in right now? Ask yourself, do you feel safe, in complete control, know exactly what your role entails, and in a habit of routines? Sound familiar? Are you beginning to sense yourself being within your comfort zone? Alternatively, do you sometimes lack self-confidence in what you're doing? Find excuses for not doing new tasks? Do you find you're affected by other people's opinions or how you perceive other people's opinions to be? Well, congratulations, you may well have dipped your toes beyond the comfort zone and into the fear zone. It's important to remind ourselves, however, that we don't want to live inside the fear zone, but move beyond it. To have the courage to move beyond fear, towards acquiring new skills, gaining additional self-awareness, dealing effectively with challenges within the learning zone. Ultimately, we as leaders need to have the growth zone in our permanent sites, where we find and live our purpose, set and achieve goals, and conquer our objectives towards success. Knowing that growth can only happen when we move beyond our own walls enables us to realize that if we have the courage to approach the wall made by our fear, it turns into a doorway to learning, to opportunities, and to future growth. So what's holding you back? Often our comfort zone traps us in ineffective behaviours. Stepping outside can be, and often is, uncomfortable. Makes sense, right? The first step in breaking out of your comfort zone is understanding what's holding you back. What are your barriers? Some barriers that you may have experienced in the past, or perhaps you may be experiencing right now, are challenging your own competence, which may sound internally like, I'm afraid to do it. I'll do it wrong. I'll be bad at it. I don't know how. There's no point in trying. Another could be imposter syndrome and likability, which may also sound like, others won't take me seriously. Everyone will know I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good enough. What will others think? People won't like me if I do it or act like this. It could also be a lack of authentic self, by placing yourself in a neat little box and not allowing or recognizing your authentic self and not allowing your authenticity to step forward, which may sound like, that's not who I am. I'm not known for that. Yet another could be fear of the outcome, which may sound internally like, it'll be too painful. I can't try that. It's too difficult to do. What if I fail? What if I succeed? It has to be perfect. It could also simply be a barrier of habit, which may sound like, why should I have to do this? It's easy to do things the way we always did. It's too much hard work to change. I need to be in control. Any of this sound familiar? Understanding what's holding you back, however, is just the first step. Overcoming the barriers is far tougher. Our brains are wired to develop stories to explain events around us, and those stories are often separated from fact. We all have stories about ourselves. I can't do maths. I can't talk in front of crowds. Often these stories are wrong, as they're not based in fact, but instead in perception. We reassure our children all the time when they say they can't do an academic subject without facts to back it up, or when they say they can't speak in front of others in class, when in actual fact they can't give any justification as to why. Equally, we give confidence to our spouse when they display imposter syndrome or similar. Yet even by reassuring others and challenging these barriers in others, why is it we still fall into believing these stories about ourselves? These self-limiting stories, or limiting beliefs, box us in and define our comfort zone. So instead of creating comfort, it's a zone of feeling trapped and limited. So, in realizing this, how do we overcome limiting beliefs and climb over the barriers to move beyond the comfort zone to where the magic happens? Recognize that it's a journey. Changing behavior takes ongoing work. That work becomes more attainable with support. That support could be in the form of seeking the benefits that the process and partnership that coaching can provide. To support you in gaining clarity to move forward, to empower you to remove limiting beliefs and barriers, before then planning and creating actionable goals, self-accountability, self-reflection, inner growth, and ultimately change and transformation, giving you control of your aspirations and actions. Take time to understand your barrier or limiting belief, and to view head-on what it is that actually makes you uncomfortable. Be clear on your why. Why is it you want to move beyond the barrier or limiting belief? Why is it important? An honest challenging of self as to what's the worst that can happen, and is it really that bad, can challenge the validity of that barrier or limiting belief. Depending on your positive or negative predisposition, one action could be to do a pre-mortem, a thought exercise where you can imagine that you've engaged in an activity where a barrier or limiting belief exists, and it's gone wrong. Rationally asking yourself what went wrong and what factors led to it, therefore preparing for any rational concerns. Better still, if you are open to visualizations and are a person who is visually inclined and receptive, carry out an imagined post-mortem, where you imagine and visualize yourself beyond the activity where you are holding a barrier or limiting belief, visualizing complete and unquestioned success. Understanding and realizing what's around you, what you see, feel and hear, to capture the positive emotion surrounding that success, and enabling that to empower you in the here and now. Respect your emotions. Recognize them without judgment. Allow yourself to experience them, but don't dwell there. Instead, become self-aware and self-regulatory, so to continue working on expanding beyond your barriers and towards growth. Accept that the journey isn't easy. Some things will be difficult to overcome, but that's okay. It's an aspect of authentic change and growth. Remind yourself of your big why, of why the journey matters, and what you hope to accomplish, and ensure you remind yourself that the goal will be achieved. Continually redefine the goal as achieved and as an absolute. Celebrate little successes along the journey. Having the courage to move outside your comfort zone is a real accomplishment, and recognizing and acknowledging what you have done can create additional motivation to continue further. It's common for us to think of our comfort zone as weakness, and to minimize the things that we do to overcome barriers. For example, when we say things like, "I should have been able to do this anyway." Embrace your successes, no matter how small. Celebrate the journey, one powerful step at a time. So, if we reach our destination of leading outside the comfort zone, what then? As a fearless leader who leads outside the comfort zone, we should be smart and challenge ourselves. As leaders, we are so used to motivating and empowering others that we very often forget that we need to challenge ourselves as much as we challenge others. Smart leaders challenge everything, especially themselves. We should be fearless and challenge the vision. When a vision is not well defined, we can lose track of our destination. As leaders, we demonstrate courage when we work with others to define and articulate a vision so we can align with purpose. We should be daring and challenge the status quo. Restructuring, remodeling, and reshaping priorities are all necessary to stay aligned in times of change. As leaders, we demonstrate daring when we are willing to let go of the control for the greater benefit of the whole organization or family. We should be heroic and challenge all stakeholders. Organizations are made up of people, and relationships are critical, but sometimes one or more stakeholders can be holding back progress. As leaders, we demonstrate heroism by taking risks in getting the buy-in from the important relationships within an organization. We should be innovative and challenge best practices. As innovative leaders, we challenge the "this is how we do it" mindset and aim higher. We also should be strong and challenge the culture. Strong and fearless leaders build strong cultures. We need to be bold and challenge talent. Developing, growing, and cultivating talent in the identification and making of next generation leaders is a crucial process. As leaders, if we want creativity and productivity, we must build a great team who see themselves as future leaders. Finally, we need to lead from within. As leaders who lead beyond the comfort zone, we are willing to take a stand. We seize opportunities to improve and create. We challenge things to make improvements. We take risks to create change and transformation. A challenge I lay before you. Take measure of where your comfort zone ends and where your leadership begins. How far are you willing to step outside your comfort zone? Ask yourself some of the questions we talked about earlier and establish what some of your limiting beliefs or barriers are. And establish what you would like to do as a next step. This week, make that important decision to dip your toes outside the comfort zone. Recognize the fear and be ready to push beyond it. Make an intentional decision to be the fearless leader and be ready to lead outside the comfort zone. Visualize the powerful and transformative potential that awaits in your leadership journey ahead. Feel free to share some of your follow-up actions with me on any of my social media platforms, or alternatively, share a comment with me right here after listening. I look forward to our next podcast session, where we'll be deep diving into distributed leadership, building an environment and culture of trust and shared ownership. Tune in next time and get ready to take action after the session. Until then, please remember, if this podcast episode added value to your day or evening, download it, share it with your colleagues and friends, and of course ensure to follow or subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. And remember, embrace the future, empower the new you, awaken the leader within, and let's take back control of our aspirations. Thanks for listening.